United Lutheran Seminary presents the Seminary Explores podcast, conversations on faith, art, people, politics, theology, life, and more, with voices from around the corner and around the globe.
Good day. Welcome to the Seminary Explores. My name is Nelson Strobert, and my guest today is Father Andrew Durbidge, who is the rector of St. Luke, St. Matthew Episcopal Church in Brooklyn, New York. Welcome to the Seminary Explores.
Thank you, Nelson. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Oh, I'm so happy that you're able to take time to have this conversation. And it's a special conversation, at least for me, in that you just recently returned from an interesting journey, or trip. That is, you were on the Camino de Santiago. And for our listening audience, just what is the Camino de Santiago?
So the very basic English translation is the Way of St. James. The Cathedral at Santiago is the resting place of what is thought to be St. James, the relics of St. James. And so it's a pilgrimage to the Cathedral in Santiago from various places in Europe.
Okay. I've heard over many years, many people, particularly practicing Christians, taking this walk. What motivated you to take this journey?
I'd heard about this walk over the years, and I was always interested in pilgrimages. And I've been to Jerusalem and the Holy Land with seminary colleagues, and I've been through in this Celtic Way up in Scotland, going out to Holy Island, and so this was just one that I was very interested in, and I had planned a sabbatical, and I had to plan out what I was going to do. And so in conversation with my family, we were going to use this as a family reunion.
Oh, okay. And how does this, I should say, how did you prepare for this walk?
Lots of walking.
Okay, yeah, I guess you have to build up to this.
You do have to build up, and the thing I learnt is you've got to try your shoes out. You've got to try what socks work with your shoes. So my preparation was essentially doing long walks in Brooklyn and across into Manhattan. Like I tried to map out routes that were, in the 10 to 15 mile range. Which was a little bit difficult in a place like this to get through
right.
Different areas over bridges and stuff like that to actually get the miles in. So just lots of walking, basically.
Oh, okay. And may I ask, did you figure out ahead of time the number of miles that you would walk each day?
Well, in the way we set up our journey was that my sister and her husband live in England, and they do lots of walking holidays around Europe, and so they used a travel company that specialized in walking holidays. And so the route that we chose, which was called the Portuguese Way, which starts in Lisbon and goes up the Portuguese coast and then crosses into Spain. So this company had actually a way already mapped out that starts from the border of Portugal and Spain at a town called Tui. And so we went on that trip, and it's like a self-guided walking trip. And so that was about 100 kilometers, 105 kilometers or something. You had to do 100 kilometers to qualify as that you actually went on the pilgrimage to get a credential stamped. And when you got to the end. So that was the one we went on, but there's other ones that come in from France, I said, which are much longer.
Right. I heard that the Portuguese way is, I guess, one of the second most popular or the most popular route that people have taken over the years.
Yeah, I think it's the most popular because it's just very accessible and it's the shortest route.
Oh, okay. When you say shortest route, how many miles are you talking about?
Well, from where we went, it was 100 kilometers, so 60 miles directly.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you do all sorts of meandering and side trips and things like that. So we ended up doing about 100 miles, so it was like 160 kilometers. But if you come up from Lisbon, that adds like another 100 kilometers onto it.
Oh, okay. Now you mentioned you did side trips. I guess my image is that there's these roads from various parts that that end at one place. But are there hotels, or do you go through towns? What is it like?
So you basically go town to town, and depending on how many miles you want to do, sort of dictates how far you can go. We were doing hotels to hotels, and then there would be a luggage service that would take our main luggage to the next hotel. And so we were just having our day packs. But there was lots of people that were going, they had their full packs. They were staying in youth hostels or, some other sort of accommodation.
Oh, okay.
And would just walk as long as they wanted to and then stop. But we took the sort of more luxurious route.
Okay. Well, that saves your energy for walking, though.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. And as you reflect on this pilgrimage, what were your personal objectives before going?
Really, for me, it was just about the meditation of walking and finding closeness with the Holy Spirit. Just in the days that we walked, it took me a few days to get into it. In a way, sort of leaving behind all of the stresses and strains and the things you
right
worry about, all that sort of baggage that we carry around every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so my main objective was to shed that and to get into the silence of walking. But it took a few days because, you're walking along roads and you're walking along sidewalks and laneways, and then you get further out into walking on trails in the woods and things like that. So it took me a couple of days.
I would say I was thinking of that. It was you needed to have there was a period of adjustment, after flying over and just orienting yourself to the process.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it took 2 full days, and what I found to get into that place, that space of just listening to your feet on the gravel. That's sort of meditative.
Right.
Part of what I love about pilgrimages. I needed to walk by myself, so I needed to sort of leave my sister and my brother-in-law behind, and like we'd meet people there's lots of people walking on the trip, so you meet people and talk with them. But I needed to sort of get out there by myself, so and walk at the pace that was natural to me,
right?
Which helps get into the meditative sort of state, which I find is the real state that I want to get into when I do something like this.
Right. Now, as you said, to get into that meditative state, did you also have with you any type of literature, prayer book, etc., or were you really concentrating on your own inner peace or inner reflection?
Yeah, I was really concentrating on my inner reflection. My sister and a brother-in-law, because they do this all the time, they had what they call the route notes, which is the travel company gives them this very detailed set of route notes, which gives you all of the, where to turn and what sign to follow. It's very well signposted though.
Okay.
Anyway. So,
mm-hmm.
Once I learned how the signs worked, I didn't really need them to tell me exactly where to go.
Right.
And so, it was just a matter of getting out there and getting into it.
Oh, okay. The other thing you mentioned, while you're walking, you wanted to be alone in your walking, but you mentioned that there are other people who are doing this pilgrimage as well. And did you meet any others who were having similar objectives? That is, in terms of their own spiritual growth and development.
I didn't. Because I didn't really talk to a lot of people on the trail, because I was trying to be in a place, of solidarity or
right.
Not solidarity, but just
solitude.
in my own space.
Yes.
Solitude. That's it. But at either end, the beginning and end, we would talk to other people that were either staying in the hotel or in restaurants or something like that were on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people that were just walking it for the sake of a walking trip.
Okay.
A lot of people just do it because it's something to do, as opposed to doing it as a religious sort of experience. But what I found at the end, when you get into Santiago itself, and the cathedral there has a pilgrim's mass twice a week.
Okay.
And it was there that I really saw the powerful impact of people achieving coming to the end of the pilgrimage, just in how they reacted.
Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So we got there on a Wednesday, and then the pilgrim's mass was like 6 o'clock on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a Roman Catholic church, so but it's a beautiful big cathedral, and lots of people there, and there was the priest gave a sermon, which was in Spanish, so I didn't understand it. But when the communion happened, and when it came time for people to go up and receive, there was lots of people that I saw were crying or in tears as they went up to receive communion.
I see. Huh.
And so it just just it's one of those things that just sort of sends chills through you. You sort of get the sense that the Spirit's right there and has really impacted these people's lives, just either in the sense that they've accomplished something,
right?
But it has, for me, it was that they had really been on a holy pilgrimage and that they achieved it, and there was just this sort of release of emotions at the end.
Right. Okay. I'd like to ask you now. How do you think, or how do you feel after being away from that place for several weeks? How do you feel that this pilgrimage changed you, if it did at all?
I think it just reinforced to me that I need to find more of those times of walking in silence. Living here in Brooklyn, it's a loud, noisy place.
Right.
But when you're out on the streets, you're just bombarded with noise and cars and just all sorts of things. And it's very hard. I find it's very hard to just get into a place of peace and solitude.
Exactly.
So I can go down and sit in the church, and and I find it there, but it's not as doesn't resonate with me as much as what I find when I'm walking on a beach and just listening to the waves, or walking on these gravel paths. There's the meditation sort of side of it is not there when I'm just sitting in the church, and that's what I really love about this.
Right. Yeah. In city life, it's very difficult to find solitude while walking with thousands of people, hundreds of people on the sidewalk, and cars moving about, etc. Yeah.
So the way I try and do it here is I go out onto Long Island. There's beaches out there.
Oh yeah.
Which are in state parks, and so I go out there and I'll either have a run on the beach or a walk on the beach, and that to me is sort of like being in heaven.
Okay.
So this is heaven. This is great. This is all I need. Thanks very much.
Indeed. And as I said, you are the rector at St. Luke, St. Matthew. As you reflect on your time away and doing this pilgrimage, how do you think it might affect you in parish ministry?
What I would like to do is to offer the opportunity to our parishioners to join me either on something here in the US, or to put together a travel group and either go to there or go up to Scotland to do the Celtic Way or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And give the opportunity to others to sort of also do that, get that sort of experience and deepen their own spiritual lives.
Indeed. And I guess my follow-up to that is, how did the parish react to your describing this trip? I don't want to call it a vacation, but your time away doing the pilgrimage.
I mean, they reacted very positively when I initially proposed doing this trip as part of my sabbatical, and we were going for a grant funding. So we spent a bit of time with the grant committee talking about what this meant. Mm-hmm. And then when we didn't get the grant and then dates and things changed, they were very interested in, and I wrote about it in my newsletter and just when I came back, just debriefing with a lot of the parishioners or those that were interested anyway, were very interested in doing something similar.
Oh, okay.
It was good.
Yeah, good. I think the other question I have is, what, in your opinion, would be the benefits of anyone walking the Camino de Santiago, whether religious or non-religious?
I think it's just going and walking a route that thousands and thousands of people over centuries have walked. There's just something about it. I think if you can get into that state of recognizing that it's an historic religious pilgrimage route and trying to enter into that spirit, there's a huge benefit that comes to you from that. I think it's really about exploring your own spirituality and getting into a place where you can just be more open to that.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. And in our hectic life, whether one's in a city or a rural area or a suburb, we live hectic lives, and we don't have this opportunity to meditate and develop our own spirituality.
Yeah, that's right. And so we have to be very deliberate about it. We're so overstimulated in the cities, and unless we get really deliberate about taking time out and finding ways to enter into that state, meditative state, then it's very hard to do. I think I find in the city it's very hard to do it unless you're really deliberate.
Right, indeed. Now you've taken the road to Santiago. Are there other places that you have in mind for your next trip, in terms of this pilgrimage and spirituality, I would call it?
Yeah, so I think the next one I'd like to do is the Celtic Way up in that sort of traces the route from Iona, which is an island on the west coast of Scotland, across to Lindisfarne, which is Holy Island on the east coast, off the east coast of Scotland, or off the east coast of northern England. And I'd really like to do that. And the company that I went with on this time, they do something along those lines, but it's also something you can plan yourself. And a couple of priest friends of mine did it maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So that's the next thing to explore.
Okay. Well, it sounds good, and it also sounds exciting.
Yes.
It really does. But I should also say it also sounds tiring. You must have been exhausted at each stretch along the way.
Yeah, it takes 2 or 3 days for your legs to actually adjust to doing the walking. We built in a few rest days just so we weren't walking every day.
Oh, okay.
Which helped a lot. And but none of us got like blisters on our feet. None of us were sort of disabled in any way by the actual walking. So we were all well prepared, and that made a big difference.
Oh, that's very good to hear. Yeah. I can't believe that our time is up, but I want to thank you for sharing your time on the road to Santiago or Camino de Santiago, or the Way of St. James. My guest today has been Father Andrew Durbidge, and we've been talking about his pilgrimage on the Camino de Santiago. Thank you for being with us on the Seminary Explorers, Father Andrew.
Thanks very much for having me, Nelson.
Okay. For the Seminary Explorers, this is Nelson Strobert. Have a good day.
You have been listening to The Seminary Explorers, a production of United Lutheran Seminary with campuses in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We invite you to visit our website at unitedlutheranseminary.edu. All opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of United Lutheran Seminary or the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America.